All right, here we are, baby. Back again. 2 Down, 1 Over podcast. I'm Josh Mason. This is Matt Flanagan. And we have the man here, Shawn Walker's in the building, man. Thanks for coming, dude.
Thanks for having me, dude.
Yes, I love the shirt, right?
Yeah,
representing
fame, strength.
You see that? You see that? So listen, Shawn, first of all, I have to give a big congratulations to you because you are a poppy, a pop, a granddaddy, a grandfather. Which one are you?
So I'm like I guess biologically I'm a grandfather.
Yes,
Nickname wise, I'm gonna go with G-Pa.
G-Pa, okay, I like it.
Add some flavor
yes.
To it. I'm way too good looking to be called Poppy or Pappy or something like that.
I feel you. So G-Pa.
Yeah, so G-Pa it is. Yeah,
all right,
G-Pa
it is. I like that.
It is, yeah.
It's crazy when you get in life and you have to start to consider that.
Well, listen, our family is real good at starting early.
Yes,
right.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's almost like a family tradition. So it's just generation after generation after generation. So we certainly were not anticipating this at all. Sure. However, Cole and Abby been together off and on or whatever they are for like 5+ years, and they love each other like as a married couple would best friends.
Yes.
To watch them interact is hysterical.
Yeah.
And then, we find out about little baby Jaden. It was a little whirlwind of an event in the summertime to start it off. But, love prevails, man. Like there's this little scripture that says love prevails, love conquers all. Yeah. So when you got love in your heart and you got love in the family, everybody's going to rally around. And we ultimately all got to that end. And so super, super excited to have that dude be born the other day, and he is as close to perfect as you can get.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah,
that's a blessing. Shout out to Cole and Abby and baby Jaden, man. Welcome to the world.
Yes.
That's big stuff. So I wanted to get that out there.
Thank you.
The other thing, listen, man, I want to dive right into it. We know you have this movement going on, and it's potential to performance.
Yes.
And first of all, I love the title. I love the script of it, but tell us a little bit about that. How does that work?
Yeah, dude. So when I was 12 years old, I am playing junior high basketball, right? At that time, there was not a 7th and an 8th, it was just 7th and 8th grade. So I didn't play, right? We were talented, super talented team, and we were on our way to the championship game. Our head coach at the time felt like he was 50 years old, but he's not. He's 24 years old, and it's Joe Long. So he's been around the game for now decades and decades. Superintendent up at Northwest, still one of my favorite people on the planet. And we were headed towards like either a playoff game or might have been a championship game. I can't remember, but it was late in the season, and we were at practice. And, your athletes, it was one of those practices, man, where the ball's just flying all over the place.
No one's focused.
Right? Everyone's, it's like laughy, jokey, silly, like, just can't get us together. We're 12. We're 12 and 13 years old. Right, and so he has the wisdom to stop the practice, and he doesn't rant, rave, and yell. He sits us all down in the corner, and I don't know what he said except for this one phrase. He said, "You all have great potential, but potential doesn't mean anything unless you reach it."
Yeah.
And dude, I do not know why. I'm a 12-year-old kid. I do not know why that statement punched me in the stomach and has never left me. Like I've sort of lived my life's philosophy more so as I got older than when I was younger in that regard. Like, you have great potential, but because it sounds like a compliment.
Right. Sure.
Like if I was to see, I come up here and I'm watching some athletes and I go observe them and I just go, hey man, listen, you got great potential. They're going to go home and be like, oh, this dude's got great potential, ma. Yeah, but what does that really mean?
Nothing.
Right. At the end of the day, it doesn't
nothing.
mean anything. It means you had ability, capacity, and opportunity. Mm-hmm. But what did you do with it?
Right.
So as I was like in business and leadership and just kind of like in my church life and coaching people and mentoring, I would always come back to that. Yep. What is your potential, and are you maximizing it? Are you achieving your goals? Are you ambitious but ambitiously executing and taking action? And then I learned in my own life the very hard way.
Right.
Like, you could dream all you want. You could talk about it all you want. You could listen to 1 million of these podcasts all you want. You could throw Eric Thomas on every day, all day.
Shout out Eric Thomas.
Shout out E.T. And you could listen, and it's almost like it lulls you into, like, the listening lulls you into thinking that you're doing something. And then a couple years ago, man, I realized, like, I got this dream, I haven't done anything. I've just wanted it, just talked about it. And so I'm like, so how am I myself going to take this potential, this gift that I have to communicate, to speak, to inspire, to motivate, and then perform it myself? And then I realized that performance is actually the key component. And so then I'm looking at my own kids. I'm looking at all the kids I've coached, all the kids I've been in contact with over the last 2 decades, and thought, yeah, so potential, they cannot live in potential. They've got to move from potential to performance, because it's the performance that matters. It's the performance that's going to change your life. It's the performance that's going to make a statement, in you as a person and the family that you represent and the loved ones that are around you. Like, to have a dream about fame, strength, but sit in a cubicle, what does that do? That just, what does that do? Right? It does. I'm not here. If you don't execute on your dream, I'm not here.
Yeah. And that's
right?
That's big, man.
Like that, and that's what I try to tell these kids. Like, if you don't execute on your dream, you don't know who you're impacting down the line. When I talk to teachers, I'm like, if you don't execute flawlessly and reach your potential as a teacher, you're impacting a child's life. So like there isn't a Shawn Walker in this state of mind and body without a Josh Mason. Yeah. And without you reaching
Shawn, let me
dream.
cut you off, because that was just a moment that I loved what you said there, and it's super impactful, and I appreciate that. But here's the thing for the listeners, not what he's saying is, like, if you don't take action in some of your dreams and your aspirations, there are numerous of people that might miss the opportunity to have their life changed because you didn't do something.
Yeah,
and like, think about that. Like, if you don't put that in perspective, man, that's mind blowing.
That's right.
But also amazing at the same time. So I love that. And listen, my purpose, I found it years back, was to have a positive impact in as many lives as possible.
Yep.
And whatever vehicle I had to utilize to do that, I was going to lay out, which hence the gym, hence this podcast, getting people around us, because it's just those words or that action that is going to help someone. But I love that statement, dude.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what it is. So like you have to perform, you have to take the action. And so potential to performance became like the overriding theme. And then underneath that is a process in order to turn your potential to performance. And so I've been utilizing this process since 2008. It's called Take an Honest Look. So we take an honest look, right? Because that's the one thing that we as humans, we really don't like to do that. Yeah. Like no one likes to stand naked in front of the mirror. Like, it's hard to do because you're going to find something.
Right. You're the hardest critic.
Like,
right?
Something's wrong, right? And so what I try to teach people is that that's okay. Like, you're going to take an honest look. The first step is at the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the thing about the good, bad, and ugly is they exist all together at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Just raising awareness.
Yeah, dude. So I got to take a look. All right, what's good in my life? What's bad? What's ugly? So here's my potential. I want to perform it, but why am I not? I got to take a look. I got to figure that out. I got to take a look. So first of all, got to recognize what's good. Like, I just was at Hanover this morning talking to some kids, and I told them, I said, here's what's good for me. I got up this morning, I walked down the stairs, I made a left, opened up my daughter's bedroom door, and there she is, sleeping soundly, right? She's been away at school for 4 months, so that to me,
that's good, man.
That's good. Yeah. I walked downstairs, I turned on the water, there was water running out of the faucet. That's good. Even more importantly, because I'm a coffee junkie, I was pouring that water into a coffee pot. That was good. I poured that junk in there, started that, hit that button, and now I hear the perks, right? And I smell that smell. That's good. That's a wonderful thing. That coffee, I go over to my desk, I get out my Bible, I get out my journal, and I get out my pen, and I got my me time, and blah, 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 blah. That's good. I'm set, right? I check some email, I do some productivity things, I'm good. I head off to Hanover, I engage these kids, I'm good, right? I'm good. I get a text from a friend, we get on the phone, we're laughing, joking, good. And I go down a list because, like, a lot of times we don't take credit, right? Or give credit, I should say, for all the good things in our life, because it's not the new car, it's not a new house, it's not, right? It's just the everyday blessings that are good in our lives.
Well, I just started to do like a gratitude list every morning, so something like that. And I'll tell you, and we talked about this. I heard really changed my life.
I did. I heard it.
Because all these things that you're talking about, I could take that for granted every day.
Every day.
I love coffee. You know, there's so many beautiful things in my morning that I'm now recognizing more. That's a game changer.
It is a game changer.
Has changed my whole perspective on everything. So I love that.
I
love hearing you talk about that.
Because at the same time, like along with that good, I have a contract that needs to be turned around by tomorrow because it needs to get in the customer's hands because they need to redline it and we need to get it back and forth and signed by February 1st. Right, I'm getting pressured from operations, and so work it. So that's that's not good, right? It's stressful, right? So we'll call it bad, right? We'll call it bad. So I got all this good stuff, and there's like some stressors, you know what I mean? You know, some stuff I've got to do this afternoon. Like you know, I got call after I leave here, I got 3-4 calls right in a row. That's going to take me right up to gym time, actually, right? So it's like so not awful, but like stress, bad.
Not
right?
good,
But not coffee.
Right.
Not coffee.
Like not Bible, not journal, not this. Just right. So that exists. And then for me, I got ugly. So I don't know if I've ever told you, but I suffer from depression and anxiety. So not I've had a bad day, not I feel sad. No, depression. Like full on depression, anxiety. So when the alarm clock goes off in the morning, the first thing that happens to me is every day. It doesn't matter if it's a Monday, a Friday, a Saturday, a Sunday, if I'm in my own home or I'm on vacation on Myrtle Beach. Doesn't matter. Same. Doesn't matter. It's not a trigger. It's not a stressor. It's my wiring. Right? So that's ugly. The depression, ugly. Because the depression says, nah, stay in bed.
Right.
Depression says, oh, yeah, you ain't got to go to the gym today.
Need more sleep.
Take that nap. You know, depression says, you know, just turn on the computer, click the button every now and again, so that way when your boss looks, it shows that you're active. Like depression says, talks to you in that way. So along with the good, I got this stress, this bad, and then I got ugly that I carry with me every day. So the first thing I try to teach these kids is like, yo, you got that too. You got first of all, recognize the good stuff. Recognize the new Drake CD. Recognize the new whatever's come. Recognize all that. Recognize your football game, your basketball game. Recognize the good grade or whatever. Recognize all that as good, right? You woke up today, that's good. Recognize that. That's number one. Then two, let's start naming some bad stuff. Like, you know, I got this test. I'm not good at math. My teacher doesn't like me. I don't like him or her, right? Let's name some bad stuff. And then if you got ugly like me, let's talk about that too. Now that we understand good, bad, and ugly, let's look at bad and ugly more closely and let's make a decision. Let's first of all understand that bad and ugly exist. When I was coming up, they tried to tell me it didn't exist.
Right.
Suck it up.
Yeah, that's not true. Right?
Keep moving. Don't cry. Don't let them see you sweat. Right?
Yeah.
So now I'm feeling these ways and I'm being told that I can't do that. So now what's wrong with me? Like, so if this isn't the way I'm supposed to feel, yet this is absolutely the way I feel, then something must be wrong with me. Let me just shove all this down. So I try to tell the kids, no, we're not going to do that here, right? We're gonna name it. And then you're going to make a decision. You're going to either let that be a reason your life is more challenging and develop a growth mindset to overcome the challenge, or you're going to let it be an excuse for you to quit and have a fixed mindset and say, nothing's ever going to get better for me.
Playing the victim.
Right. Yeah. Nothing's ever going to get better for me.
And thank you for saying that too. And I can relate to a lot of things that you're saying. And like younger, I had those feelings too, and I still have those feelings. You really never.
You don't grow out of it.
You don't grow out of it. So I can relate to you 100%. You're speaking to me. I mean, thank you. But it's like anymore, like we can raise awareness and deal with it so much better. And I remember as a kid, like anxiety and depression, all the time. You take yourself wherever you go, you're there.
Right.
So it's there. So now like you're shedding light on it, man. That's a beautiful thing.
Well, I used to think it was the job. So then I get a new, then I get a new job. And guess what?
Still there.
There it is. I used to think it was the money. Get a promotion or 2 or 3 or 4.
Still there.
I think the money. But I realized, it ain't. It's you.
It's you, dude. All day.
Like it's just you. And then I was trying to blame myself and then realized, it's not even. It's just how I'm made. Yeah. Like it's just how I'm wired. So, is this going to be it forever? Am I stuck here on the couch? Am I stuck here crying in the shower? I used to cry for 30, 35 minutes every morning in the shower before I left the house.
Damn.
Yeah, I could tell you every nook and cranny in this valley where you could go park your car in the middle of the day and sleep the day away. Because that's what I would do. I'd cry, drop Brandon off for school, get back in the car, start crying again, get up to Scranton or Pittston or Music, find my spot, sleep all day, head back to the office, pretend like I worked, go home, pretend like I worked, and then try to fight to go to sleep, even though I wanted to stay awake because I just slept the whole day away.
Right.
Like, so that was my, like, and that was like every day for years.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't like a minute. That was
So
years.
so listen, Shawn, talk about that. So all right, so obviously you're in a dark spot, right? You're in, and you said you're in there for years. So mentally, you're like, okay, the action of going, parking off, hiding, crying, and feeling down on yourself, right? The reason you're doing that in this moment is why. Why are you doing those things?
At that point, I did not know.
Right. So now you feel the stress of life, or the stress of all the stresses around you are crippling you and bringing you down. So it's like, all right, I'm being broken, right?
Yeah.
I'm being broken. Now, in that moment, was there ever a time where it was like, well, what needs to change, or what do I have to do to change? Did that ever arise in that moment?
Yeah. So here's what happened. Now, I'm a faith guy, right? So I know everyone watching isn't a faith guy, isn't a God guy, a Jesus guy. I understand that. And you don't have to be if you don't want to be. For me, I'm a faith guy.
Sure. I am
So I quite literally, I was ready to kill myself.
take it off.
Yep. So I used to look at so I was a sales guy on the road all the time. I used to see oncoming traffic.
Thanks.
And I used to see them trucks coming
Thinking,
Yeah.
daily.
ouch.
But then you're realizing that those thoughts are coming in. Something's wrong.
Something is wrong, yes, but what really saved me in the moment was not what was wrong, obviously, but it was what was right.
Yeah.
And what was right was Morris Walker. Ooh, you're going to get me crying on here.
This is what it's about.
That's
dude.
okay,
Listen,
man.
I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
this, man.
yeah.
This is real,
Ah,
man.
that
I
just
know.
that
This
just
is
tingled
real,
a
brother.
bit. That
Yep.
made my eyes tingle a little bit.
Yeah.
It's good.
What was right was Morris and Mary Jane Walker, Sherida, and at that time, Brandon.
Yeah, man, family.
So that was what's right.
Family.
Right. So I held on to life for them.
Them, yeah.
And then I came to a moment in prayer where I literally screamed out, please kill me or save me.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot live this way.
I don't have the answers.
I can't do
right.
this. Now,
Yeah.
now, mind you, dude, I'm 22.
Yeah, which is
Like-
crazy.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
crazy.
22 years
Yeah.
old. I'm 22, 23 years old.
Okay.
Right. So I'm like, literally, kill me or save me. And
It's like rock bottom, man.
yeah,
It's rock bottom.
yeah, kill me or save me. And slowly, I realized that I was being kept. And then I understood that was like for a reason.
Purpose, right?
Now, it didn't heal up nothing.
Sure.
Like, it didn't heal the depression. It's still not healed. But now I know what it is. I've learned about it. I understand. No, I understand what it is psychologically, physiologically. Like, I understand it's not a demon.
Right.
I understand it's not like I'm broken. There's a physiological reasons. There's reasons that it happens. There's chemistry involved, all that. So I get it. And because I understand it's going to live with me always.
Sure.
Right? But I'm cool with that. Because the one thing that it served, the purpose I believe it served, it's like a double-edged sword. I ended up learning that I was depressed because I wasn't fulfilling my potential.
Yeah. Okay.
So-
So when did you notice that? So like, that's hard to connect.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like you
so
would-
think
you-
about
oh,
that.
that's
You
a
just
big
said.
Yeah. So you think it was
That's huge.
you think it was a lifetime ago.
Yes,
Right?
so
like
say
I learned. Nope.
You were
No.
in your pit 22, 23.
Yep.
You're now 46, right? 3 years ago, you're 43.
Yep.
And that's when the bell rung, right? Which that's incredible, right? Because it takes, I think, maturity, experiences, exposure to different life experiences that bring you to that, right? That educate you and give you that knowledge to connect the dots. Is that what you think it took?
So here's what it took was, all right, I don't feel good. Kill me, save me. I'm kept. I still don't feel good.
Right.
right? But I just know that I know that I'm being kept. That's all I know.
Moving in the right direction,
Just,
I think. I mean,
not even moving in the right direction, but
just moving.
moving. Yeah. Action. Action.
Just moving. Just one foot in front of the other.
You're just
Sure.
living.
Right? So I tell the story about like how I used to get in my car. 'Cause I'm a sales guy, so every day I'm in my car, I'm driving up and down the highway, usually Route 81 south, headed towards the Hazleton area. And I would always have this thought in my head, there's got to be more to life than this. There's got to be more to life than this. There's got to be more to life than this. But then I would talk to people, and they were like, oh, what's going on with you? I'm like, oh, Sherida and Brandon, and, you know, work is good, bonuses, new pool, fence, da-da-da-da. They're like, oh, my God, you're living a dream. And I'm like, yeah. But in my mind, I'm like, but I'm not.
And think about this. Meanwhile, you're a reverend.
Yeah.
You are talking to the people.
Yeah.
And the messages that are being delivered to these people are inspiring these people,
Yeah.
motivating these people.
And I'm dying.
And you're dying.
Yeah.
Like that, the irony of that is tremendous.
Yeah, I'm
right?
dying. But the reason why I could do that is because I knew I was kept.
Yes.
So I knew that faith kept me. That I knew, right? So I don't know. I never professed as a preacher ever to have all the answers, nor to be perfect.
Right.
Never. And that's why I could never consider myself a hypocrite, because I don't tell you one thing and then do another.
Right.
Like if I'm effing it up, I'm effing it up, and I will tell you that I don't care. I'll tell it from the pulpit. I don't care. So I'm never like, don't do that, and then I'm doing that. Right? I might be doing it, and I'll tell you,
I'm doing it. Yeah.
I'm doing it and don't need to do it. You don't need to do it. We don't need to do it. Let's try to get through. Like, so like I've always been real with that, always. So I knew, though, that faith kept me. So the faith message was still strong and relevant because I knew it is what my life
that was your anchor.
It just kept me above water.
That was your anchor.
Now during this time, because this is like a big, do you know that other people like go through this? You know, other people are anxious and depressed. You know that.
I learned it over time.
Okay, you learned it over time, but you're kind of keeping it in, right?
Yeah, not in the beginning.
Yeah.
So like in the beginning now, it's like 1998, 99.
Okay.
Right? So it wasn't like, so there's still the stigma. You know, there's still the,
like the man tough, like,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what you're feeling.
Yeah.
You're not sharing it.
right.
Not
There's
sharing it.
still all that, right?
Yeah.
So there wasn't this comfortability where I'm like, oh, I could just call my boy and be like, hey, man. Like there was, so a lot of it was just like inside. I had my pastor and another preacher friend of mine, James Brees, Pastor Wallace Smith, and they were kind of like, they were the people that I got to share with, like back then. Then as time goes on, I started to like expand my relationships in business and had a lot of one-on-one conversations with sales colleagues and so on and so forth, and found out that most of us are super, super anxious in that world, right? Super. It comes it's that anxiety almost that leads to the success in a weird way, because we can't fail. Right. So I learned it. I didn't know it in the beginning. I thought I was like by myself, because no one in my immediate circle
felt that way
that I knew.
Yeah.
Now later, I found out that I had family members that did suffer with it, but again, nobody was.
They don't speak of it.
Was talking about it at that time.
I mean, you're feeling alone then.
I felt really alone. Then, like I said, but I'm a talker, and I wear my emotions on my sleeve. So, like, if I met you out and about, and we got into a decent conversation, dude, I'd dump all this on you. Like, I have no pretense. I don't care. Like I don't care. I'll wear it all on my sleeve.
Right.
So, but yeah. So no, I didn't know. But that's I learned it over time that I was not alone, and then social media started to help because people started to share.
Yes.
Really for attention.
Yep.
But then in that cry for help, if you will, like the comment sections, or like I'll get an instant message, be like, hey, listen, I'm so glad you shared that because I've been. And like, then I started to realize, oh no, like there's a ton of us out here.
You're not alone, dude.
So many of us out here. So yeah.
And you have the concept like nowadays, like the mental health.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like that's the big thing now. And I believe it's so true amongst the youth. Right. So when you're saying you're that young, I think it's even younger now.
It's way younger.
Because they're exposed to so much content in life, and it's just too much where they're not mature enough to process and understand anything, where they become overwhelmed. Right. And they fall into these pits. So I love the job that you're doing is going into these schools to speak to these youth and let them know that there's a way, and it's okay that you feel this way, but here's some steps to get out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
So we named the bad and the ugly. I lead with mine, right? because I know that they have it too. I know most kids are anxious. Most kids are depressed. I know it. Now, they're not going to say it, but I know it. So I lead with mine. Tell them right away. Like, yo, so here's my good, here's my bad, and here's my ugly. That's with me every day. Now, for years, I'm like, this ain't never going to get any better. I just have to keep putting one foot in front of another. I just got to keep going to work and keep getting this paycheck and keep paying these bills and keep doing these vacations and try to pretend that I'm having a good time in life because I'm supposed to be.
Right.
Because if you look at my life on paper,
you're good.
Should be good.
It should be good.
Should be good.
But I wasn't good. And the reason why I wasn't good is because I wasn't living up to my potential. I wasn't living in my purpose, right? So
were you aware of your potential?
Yes.
You were. Okay.
Yeah, I used to I'll listen to like an ET or I'll listen to like motivational speakers. I'm like, nah.
Right.
I mean, you might be better, but you're not that much better.
Oh, right. I
Like-
know I could do that too.
Like you're not that much better.
Yep.
Like, the only difference between you and me is they know who you are.
Right.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you put me on that same stage with them
I could do
same
the
lights,
same thing,
I do
man.
the same thing.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And that's belief.
Well, it's
You gotta
belief
believe in
and it's
yourself,
knowledge.
right?
Like
Yep,
it's proven
yep,
concept. Like it's 20 plus years.
Yep.
Like I know it.
Yeah.
And that's not being cocky or arrogant. I just know it, right? That's my gift.
is.
Like
Right.
you knew you were a good football player, right?
right.
You knew you were a good basketball player, right? Like I just know it. It's not cocky. I just know. What did Coach Prime say? Don't let my confidence
confident
offend your insecurities. Like
Yeah.
I had to relearn that just recently
Yep.
because I let people's insecurities
that.
push my confidence down to where I became almost a different human being.
Yep.
So long story short, once we name that stuff, we go into goals, plans, and actions. So now we got all this stuff on the table. What do you want to do? Who do you want to be? Like, what's your goal? I don't care if it's to make your bed every morning. I don't care if it's to do a dish for your mom or your dad. I don't care if it's to get a job. I don't care if it's to write a book. Some girl today said, I want to make dresses. I don't care if it's to make everyone's prom dress, get on making the cut and win everything. I don't care what you want to be, an astronaut, the president of the United States. I don't care what your goal is. Let's put it down on paper. Great. So you've now decided, I got good, and I got some bad and some ugly, but I got a growth mindset. So I know that over time, with energy and effort, I'm going to improve. Like I on the Go Getters podcast, I blew their mind when I said, they asked me, you don't believe in you're doing your best? I said, no,
It could be better.
because your best can get better. Like my best 10 months ago was 155 pounds underneath the bench.
Yeah, but
My
now
best
your best
on Monday was 285 with a goal of 300.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah,
Same strength.
but if the goal is 285, or the test was 285, it was 260 2 months ago,
Yeah. Yep.
right? So with energy and effort, meaning work, diet, nutrition, I jumped 20 pounds in 2 months, right? So your best could always get better. So we have this growth. So now you said, this is my junk, good, bad, and ugly. Now my best is going to get better. I'm not going to let the bad and ugly be excuses, and I'm going to put goals, plans, and actions in place, and then we name those things. Now in my program, we get 3 goals. So the first 2 of them I give. So we want outcomes, right? So the first one's an academic outcome. So we're going to take a look at Skyward or whatever. So we just want improvement. So the one's academic. The other one's disciplinary. So if you have 0 discipline actions against you, then cool. Your goal is to keep it at 0, obviously.
Yeah.
If you have 1, let's get to none. If you have 2, let's get to I'm not saying don't ever get in trouble ever again, but let's just get a better outcome.
Yeah.
Right? Growth mindset. Over time with energy and effort. Not tomorrow.
Right.
I didn't go from 155 on March 1st and then 285 on March 2nd. Right? Over time with energy and effort. So we want those 2 goals, 1 academic, 1 disciplinary. And then the third one is the goal of their choice. So that could be to make the bed. That could be to get into college. That could be whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then we legit workshop plans that support that goal, and then actions that execute against the plan. And then the last piece is the take an honest look at you. And that's the accountability piece, right? Because as much as you are the owner of Fame Strength and Pete and Kelsey and Briggs, right, and Dave. They're the coaches that I see most of Tajina in the building. I want to perform for them.
Yes.
Right? I do.
Yeah.
I want to perform. They are my coaches, right? But at the end of the day, if they were to leave, if they were to not care, if they were to go away, I still have to be accountable to me.
Yep.
And the truth is, sadly, a lot of these kids, they don't have a mom
Right.
or a dad
Right.
that, and they might have a mom or a dad, and they might even exist in that house, but they do not hold them accountable. And the reason why you got that F is because your teacher sucks. The reason why you're not playing is because your coach is horrible.
Yep.
Right? It's never their fault.
Fingers. Sure.
Right? So I teach them, listen, at the end of the day, I want you to want to please your mom. I want you to want to make your dad proud. I want you to perform for the coach that has poured into you, no doubt. But if they don't exist, you still exist. Yep. And at the end of the day, this is your life. So you've got to be accountable to you. So those are the 3 steps, right? So take an honest look, good, bad, and ugly. Take an honest look at your goals, plans, and actions. Set them, create them, and execute against them. And make sure we're doing that with the accountability piece to yourself. And if you continue to do that in one vicious cycle, that performance, that potential will turn into performance. So that's the program.
And that's dope, man, because what I love most about that is that you're going into these minds that are of the youth and giving them actionable, right? Actionable plans, things that they can use and say, hey, if I follow this blueprint, this can help me. What I like to use is move the needle, right? Move the needle. Because a lot of us don't learn that till later in life, and that's myself.
Me too.
I always had goals. I always had dreams, right? I want to go to the league. I know that. But I was never taught or had the understanding of like, hey, what are your actions that are going to lead you to that goal?
Yeah, how do you reverse engineer it?
Right.
So like how do you begin with the end in mind? So like if the league is the goal, what's going to happen right before the league?
Yep.
What's going to happen right before that?
Yep.
What's going to happen before that? And before that? And before that? And 7 years earlier, what's going to happen before that? And that becomes step number 1.
Yes. And I spoke to Matt about that, about reverse engineering.
About that,
if you have a goal, you have to start here and then give the plan and map. Because if you don't have a map or a blueprint or a direction or a road to that, how are you getting there? You don't know. You're aimlessly just trying. Like that's just like we're just shooting in the air. Yeah. Like, but if there's hey, here's the focus, and granted, that plan could go left, go right, and then come back, and it will. You're right, but you have to understand that will happen, so it's okay, right? Some people might go left and say it's not going to work, and then drop everything, right, and quit.
Right.
But it's okay. Like the dream to open up the gym or do what I'm doing now, there was multiple roadblocks and things that I had to overcome to make sure that it was happening. It wasn't set off like, hey, I did A, B, and C, and this is exactly
now
what
let me
I
ask
came
you
out.
a question then.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. So being that you just like you said opening a gym, many obstacles. So what was the thing that got you past the obstacles? I think I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, you already know.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So here's to answer that quickly is the motto. Right.
So
like, you already know where I'm going.
So that's what I wanted to draw out, right? That's what I wanted to draw out. Because if your mind is, so mindset, right? So if your mind is set on that one thing, like literally come hell or high water, I'm getting there.
That's it.
Like,
yes.
I don't know, like it's not going to be this straight line.
Nope.
But no matter where the path takes me, no matter what I got to jump over, crawl through, I'm going to get to that expected end.
Yes.
Like there's nothing that's going to stop me. I didn't learn that until just a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Like I just let defeat happen. I let life happen. I dreamed about it. I wanted it. And I was reasonably successful in business and sales and whatever, but it never fulfilled me. And that's why like, oh my God, you're like, I hate my life, but I'm supposed to like it. Why don't? So weird. So then I escaped my life through my children.
Yeah.
So like I lived like the good parts of my life were their parts of my life.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. And it, like games and sports and like I Like I got my one source of happiness was them, but it was not really anything that I was doing. And someone will say to me, what about the church? Well, the church listen, I love to preach, but church is hard.
Sure.
Like church, the dynamics and the politics. And I'm a good preacher. I'm not really a good pastor. Like, I don't like that part of it. I'm not really gifted to do it. I'm really gifted to deliver the message. So I super struggle with the other parts of it. So while I got a thrill on Sundays and Wednesdays, the rest of it was not a thrill. Right. So I still felt like, oh man, you're doing it, but you're not even doing it the right way. Yeah. You're doing it, but you're not doing all of it. Right. So even that dynamic, it's just I wasn't getting happiness out of it. I wasn't getting fulfillment. And so everything became like a chore, like a duty, everything. And the only real fulfillment I got out of my life was literally Brandon, Cole, and Lael. Yeah. Oddly. Weird. And then a few years ago, I learned like, this is my life. And I have I have good friends in my life, small group, but they are a good group. And, just kind of bantering about and talking things through. And I have one dude that he is not a touchy-feely guy. Yeah. Like he is not the guy that's going to hug you and tell you everything's going to be okay. You're going to tell him a problem. You're going to say, what are you doing about it? Right. And I'm going to say, I don't know. And he's like, well, there you go. You're not doing anything about it. Yeah. So let's reframe success. So what does success looks like? Out of debt, $1 million a year. Okay. When is that going to happen? Right. I don't know. A year, 2, 10, 20, maybe never. What are you doing? So what's success along the way? Right. And that phrase hit me 2 summers ago. Reframe success. So success isn't 300 pounds. Success has been show up. Yes. Every day. Yes. Right? Process. And that's the key. Process. Like I've heard you say it. Like everyone kind of in this arena says it. Like it is not, listen, putting that medal on your neck, standing in that arena, holding up that D2 or that district title, right? That's special. Yeah. But that didn't, it was everything. Whole journey, man. Right? Yeah. The success was not that night. Yep. That was just the last step. That's it. But the success was every day you showed up and laced up. The success was every time we went to the gym 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, sneaking into Myers, putting on them lights and getting 300, 400, 500 shots up. Like that was success. Success is getting in the car and driving to Reading and driving to Allentown, and driving to Virginia and flying to Florida. Like that was all of that was success.
Process. And the thing is, embrace the grind. You always see that saying. But think of our core values. Like that's how I created our core values. Passionate about what we do, right? Like you got to love this. We got to be in this. You want to do this and not be paid for it. Like that's where I feel. Dedicated to the process. That's our second core value. Dedicated to the process. Why? Because that is it. The process is it, right? Last, driven to be the best. Okay? If we're dedicated to the process, we are driven to be the best. Like the process is everything. You showing up here, giving a great experience, teaching yourself, increasing your knowledge, gaining works, and we're moving the needle and changing lives. Yeah,
right? That's why I wanted to team up with Josh. Is when we first met and he started to go over that, I was like, man, that hit me, man. Like, I was like, all right.
Yeah, and you look at like core values and mottos and slogans, and if you're not careful, they could just be like an afterthought. Yes. Right? Like just an afterthought. But those words do mean something, right? Because so if you let them. Right. So in the tongue is the power of life and death, right? So it's from a little book that I read every now and again, right? So you want to speak life into your life, and those mottos, those affirmations. It's what does that. It's what drives that. It anchors you. It's like it is a core value. It helps you get recentered when you get lost a little bit, when you drift. Like the thing about drifting is, I remember being a kid with my grandfather. We used to go fishing at this lake, and we'd paddle down to one end, right, and then we'd like take a nap, right. He wanted to take a nap, and so he'd lay down. I'd kind of sit there, lay down, and then in about an hour or so, we'd be on a complete opposite side of the lake. But you didn't feel right. You didn't feel like you were moving. And that's the danger in drifting.
Yeah.
Because it happens
Yeah, I
so
like that.
Amen to that.
it happens so slowly.
Yep.
Right? Just one small inch at a time. Over a long period of time, you're at the other end
And you look
of
back
the
and
lake.
you say, how did
I get here? So it's those core values that when you notice you're not where you're supposed to be, kind of like go, oh, no. Either anchor or let's start getting back to where we need to be. So those words, I believe that words matter. Yeah, words matter.
You know,
because
words
that
of
starts it. Words start it, and
does,
then
and-
action finishes it.
And I have a habit of positive affirmations every day, every night. I listen to them, no matter where I'm at. It's just part of my system, part of my code. So, like when you say discipline, right? Discipline is like a code of behavior, right? Like what you hold yourself to, and that's one of my codes. Like that is part of me. I need that. It doesn't matter because it helps me. It puts me in the right frame. It puts me in the right energy, or whatever you want to call it. I understand it. It works for me, and I'll continue to utilize that as a tool for me. Like and affirmations are great. And when I hear people speak with negative energy, it cringes me. Like, and you can see even in here, like when in our gym space, we have all those words of affirmation and get your mind right, and our motto and our culture, and everyone's talking like, because that's what we're trying to breathe onto you. We want you to embrace that, because that's the positivity. Because for some individuals, when they come to us, that's their only positivity.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Like,
you were
so
saying.
we take that important.
One thing that I can't stop thinking about this because it's so relatable to one of my kids. I'm shifting gears a little bit, but
Sure.
you talked about, you're a great speaker. I mean, you're phenomenal. I listened to you on the Go Getters. Shout out to the Go Getters.
Shout out
It
Go
was-
Getters.
It was phenomenal. I was so fired up. It was my day off yesterday. I was listening to that. It was amazing. And we're talking about a little bit here, right? And you're confident that you can do it. You listen to these motivational speakers thinking, I could do this, and you can. But before, you're talking about how other people's insecurities would affect that, right? And I know I've worked with people before, and it was like they were afraid to succeed.
Yeah.
And it was like because of that, because other people are kind of bringing them down a little bit, or they're afraid that like what other people are gonna say or think, and it's like, we got to shed some light on that. That's a real thing. If fear is success because of that.
Yeah, I when I was younger, and not a kid, but when I was a younger man, around that same time, like of the depression year, like the crying years at 23, 24, like maybe 23 to like 28 or so. I was becoming more successful, like at work, some of the other things that I was interested in and doing, church and relatable things, right? So I was getting, I was moving up the ladder, right? And two things happened. One, certain people that I love and respect that weren't family but like family, started to tell me how I should feel. And I didn't feel that way. So firstly, now I'm thinking, what is wrong with me?
Yeah.
Right? So you're right. Like I
do have this.
I am making more money than most people. I do have a fancier title than most people. I am able to do, right? Like, you're right. So why is it not enough? Something is wrong with me. That was the first thing.
Right.
Second thing is people used to literally call me and tell me that I was too prideful because of the way I walked. No joke.
Wow. Interesting.
No joke.
That's crazy.
The
So
way,
go ahead, Ben. Yeah,
so
go
the way I
that.
carried myself, I didn't intentionally walk.
Sure.
Any way I'm walking,
You're walking the way you walk.
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
I was told, you're too prideful, getting phone calls, people are talking about it, knock it off. All right.
Damn.
Okay. At that point, subconsciously,
Yeah. you
I
take it
began
in.
to
Yep.
shrink.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Sheesh.
Like, I began to shrink myself. So instead of being the guy out front
Words, man, the power.
leading the way,
It's crazy.
blowing the trumpet, I noticed that I started to avoid conflict, avoid confrontation
Because of what was said.
because of what was said. So you want me to be a leader? Now, I'm not going to lead that because that's going to lead to someone calling me, texting me. So instead of being out front and leading this thing, I'm going to get back in the cut. Now, I'm going to be part of it, right? I'm going to support, but I can't be on camera.
Yep.
Like, I can't be the guy, out front. And that went from, like, that age into my 30s. Wow. Right? And I didn't, like, no. Everything in me wants to be out front.
But no, I can't.
Everything in me wants to lead, but I can't. I can't. I'm offending somebody. Someone is making a phone call to someone that I care about, telling me that I'm too prideful because of the way that I walked. So if you don't like the way that I walk, you're certainly not going to like my face on the news or in the paper or in the whatever. So I'll just stay back. I'll just stay back here in the cut.
And that couldn't have felt good. Right.
It felt horrible because I felt, again, two things. I felt something was wrong with me. I didn't understand why I wasn't happy because I had everything that, quote unquote, a life should have. I had a great family, great wife, great children, a reasonably good job, successful in sales, 8-9 years a row in goal, making no one's rich. But making a good living, like a better than most living, right?
And society labels you.
Yeah, and and I'm like, well, wait a minute, but the thing that I didn't recognize until just a handful of years back was that it didn't matter how much of anything I attained. It wasn't who I wasn't being who I was born to be.
Yep.
Right, and I let those words impact me psychologically, spiritually, and unknowingly, I just shrunk. And then I became insecure myself. And now I'm like, everybody's looking, everybody's watching, everybody's judging. Oh, if I fail, and then I did fail, and then once I failed, then it was over. Then I'm like, that's it. My life is over. I'm never gonna come back from this. I did not succeed at this. It was, maybe it was out in the public and everyone knows and this, that, and the nine. Like now I'm ashamed of my mistake.
Yeah.
Now I'm ashamed of the error. And then trying to make up for that mistake, I made another mistake. Now I've doubled it. Right. Now my life is in jeopardy.
So now you validate what the people were saying.
Correct.
Right. To you're validating what the people are saying, so they are right.
They are right. So you were right the whole time.
Yep.
And now I've messed up my life. I'm messing up my marriage because things aren't right. I've screwed it up. I've screwed it up. And if I mess up that, then my kids are. Then now I'm like, oh my God. Now I'm a loser. I suck. Yeah. I suck at this. Right. And now then I carried that through for a couple of years. Right, pretending to be okay and doing the job and showing up at work and showing up on Sundays, but my God, had zero desire to do any of it. But you were mentioning something about like a kid, or was it your kid or a kid? Or
I just working with kids, I felt like I've seen that. I'm thinking of an instant, and Josh probably remembers this was a distance runner. I said, "Man, you're amazing," but like the lights came on and he just couldn't perform.
Oh, okay.
And you know what I'm saying? And it's like. And I think it was because of stuff like that. And I think it was because of the perspective of other people. And like, I wanted you to say that because like I've heard you being your true self, how important that is. You're a confident guy. So what? That's great. It's who you are.
It's right? Here's what I would tell anybody, man. It's their problem, bro.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like it's their problem.
That's
like it's
not
their
a Shawn
problem.
Walker problem.
You don't like the way I sound? Don't listen. You don't like the way I dress? Don't look.
That's how I rock.
You don't like the post I post? Don't read them, but you're gonna.
Yes.
Because you're gonna.
Yeah.
You're gonna look at it.
I'll tell you this, Shawn, like that was the approach with the gym when I was starting. There was haters out there, there was doubters out there. But at the end of the day, I didn't care because I said, this isn't for everyone.
Correct.
I'm not out here to get every single person in here. That's not my motive here. I want the people that want to be in here. That's who it's for. So if you don't like it, it's okay. No hard feelings. There's a bunch of gyms that are around the area that you can go to.
Go do Crunch Fitness.
You can do all of that, and my feelings aren't hurt.
Yeah, no, it's cool. That's why, right.
I want the people that want to be here. So it's the same thing as you as a person. If there's things that you want to do, like there's always going to be someone, naysayers. There's always going to be doubters. There's always going to be haters. That's okay. It's okay.
But that's a big problem in this valley, though, bro.
Oh, big time.
Huge.
Let's just be honest.
Huge.
Like,
There's
that's a
no
big
one
problem
lifting.
in this valley. Like, with our kids,
Yes.
like, I got to be honest. I'm going to say coaches throughout the years, right? I'm not going to name anybody, and I'm not going to, right? Because it's not in anybody. It's just a general thing. I've heard coaches say, "Oh, that kid will never be more than this."
Yes, me too.
That kid can't play D1. That kid's only D3.
Yep.
I'm like, well, you know what though? Do you take any responsibility in that?
Yeah, like who's right? No, seriously though, that's right. Like, are you? Why are you saying that? Because are you not helping? Are you not trying to shed light?
Do you take any responsibility in that? Because you rode that dude.
Yes.
You rode him to a title.
Yeah.
He was good enough to do that.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So where was the development?
Right.
Where was the phone call? In the
Right.
gym in the summer.
Yeah. Where's the
in the
talks?
spring.
Right.
Where's the workout program? Where's the offline stuff?
Yes.
Where's the Zoom? Like,
Yep.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
right? So like you got to believe in you.
Yes.
And then others do need to believe in you.
Sure.
Like they do. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
we have coaches, right? That's why we have teachers.
need it.
That's why
Yes,
you
sir.
have
Sure.
parents,
Yes.
right? You need someone to believe and help
At
you
least
along.
one.
At
Yeah.
least somebody.
At least one,
So I was
right.
talking to Beth Ann Owens, right?
Yes, I know her.
And I had an interview with her, and she taught me that the number one factor between a kid not reaching their potential and reaching their potential is one adult.
Wow.
One.
How about that?
But positive adult.
One positive
Yes,
adult.
yes.
Believing in them.
One. One.
But I believe that.
But
I do.
think
Yeah,
about the
sure.
power of that.
I know.
Dude,
It is
not
a powerful statement.
one.
One.
Wow.
And then you look at the kids that may not reach their potential or are not as successful. And then do you say, did they have at least one positive, or that person just didn't do enough, or didn't
Well,
take
so that's the
action,
accountability
right?
part, though. So that's the accountability part. The accountability part comes in, like, you might have that one person. You might be going down a track or a path, right? But is the goal set? Yes. Most of the time the goal's set. Is the plan created? Yes. But is the action taken? Not always, and mostly not.
Yep.
And that is the difference. The difference
100%.
between, so we say, I created the goal. Yay. I got a plan. Yay. Look at me. I'm on my way. Did you go to the gym now?
Right.
Well, no. Did you get the shots up? Well, no, I had this and that homework and I had to, right?
Yes.
Did you get the A on the test? No. Why? Did you study? Well, no. Did you take 5 days prior to write out all your notes and to memorize? Like, did you do that work? No.
So how can you expect
Right.
these results?
So that's the accountability
Work you did
piece.
not put
So
in.
if you have the adult, if you have that someone leading and guiding you, that adult can't just be like walking alongside of you as a partner. They've got to be helping you be accountable to yourself.
Yes.
Right? Making sure. So Cole wasn't going to the gym at 10 o'clock at night if I'm not saying, let's go.
Yep.
Right? That's not happening. Dad, I want to shoot 500 shots. Oh, you do?
Right. Right.
You do? Okay. Noted.
Oh, yeah. Noted. I'm gonna
Noted.
take it.
All right, dude. Just got home from work. Just wrapped up life. It's 10:30. Let's
it.
go.
Yes.
Call of Duty.
Yep. And listen, to speak to that, this is I said this, well, I've been saying this a while for Tice, my son. I tell him this. I said, dude, listen, here's the deal. You have to let me know if you want to be great.
Right.
Whatever you do. You let me know. Because if you tell me you want to be great, then I know what I need to do for you.
Right.
If you tell me you don't want to be great,
That's
and
cool.
that's not your thing. That's cool. But then I know what I need to do.
Or don't do.
And
we'll just have some fun.
And that's just what it is. And I said, just make sure you keep that line of communication. If the moment you say you don't want to be great, then I won't put this in front of you.
Yeah.
If you want to be great, dude, you're going to do shit that you don't really want to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with that. Like, the type of father I could be as an athlete is I could be the father that after you win a game by 20 or lose a game by 30, after you've scored 28 or scored 2, after you hit the game-winning free throw or went 0 for 8. I could be the dad that's like, oh, son, give me a hug. You played great, man. You played great. Good job, dude. I'm so happy, so glad, so thrilled to watch you play.
Yeah.
Right? I could be that guy. But the second you tell me you want to be a champion,
Yeah, it changes. And I agree.
Not gonna work.
Yeah, the second you tell me you want to be a champion, now the motto, now it shifts from, and my kids all know this. We used to recite it as 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade in practices. What is the difference between second place and last place? And they will tell you there is no difference.
That's right.
Right? Because you didn't win. And that sounds like, oh, well, winning is everything. No, winning is not everything, but it's the goal.
Sure. Hell yeah.
And I'm not going to be set. Listen, I have not met a person. I remember getting a second place medal and hating every second of it.
Sure.
Right? A second place medal. I would rather have been out the tournament in round one.
Right. What's second?
Right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be that. Yeah. I don't want to be that Final Four. I don't want to be that close that I can taste it and then have it ripped. Oh no! Yeah. Right? That's so the goal is to win. So yeah, if you tell me you want to be a champion, then my attitude towards you, and maybe it's unfair, but that's just the way. I spent so long in my life not reaching potential that I just kind of refuse to allow other people to do the same.
Especially you're connected to.
Right, because I know how bad, because it hurts.
Yes.
I know how badly it hurts. I don't want you to hurt that badly.
That's it. And I mean, listen, dude, this is amazing. We needed this podcast. I love it. What this conversation, I think we could go on forever. 3 or 4 hours.
We should probably pick a good time.
Easy, we can do that.
Pick a good time.
So we're going to definitely have to reschedule, but Shawn, I loved it. The listeners, this is a gift. Yeah. This is a gift. This podcast is going to go crazy. So I'm super excited about that. But listen, we like to wrap this up with a couple things, a couple questions. All right, Matt. So shoot them out. What you got for them? All right?
This is my favorite question. I love asking people.
Okay.
This.
Now I'm nervous.
I hope you're a pizza guy. Are you a pizza guy?
Oh, well, of course, from northeastern Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Good. All right. So Northeast PA. What is your favorite pizza?
All right. So I could go with the standard, right? I could go with the standard. I could tell you Jerry's. Yep. or Angelo's, and we could have that debate.
Sure.
But I got to be, so I love them, and those are our go-to. But the best slice of pizza I've had in northeastern Pennsylvania is on Wyoming Avenue, in between Exeter and Wyoming, a little place called Mariano's.
Oh, wow.
Yo, okay. Wow.
And Mariano
that's
is
a first.
Yeah. And I'm saying his name with the rolling R.
Yes.
Because he is from Italy,
I have to.
I know
that
check
place.
this out.
I know that place.
Yeah.
My wife and I have went there. My buddy Timmy and his wife. Yo,
I might
that
have
place
pizza
is
tonight.
legit.
So I met him 20 plus years ago when I was a young salesperson. A sweetheart of a man, never forgets a face and a story.
Yep.
He'll meet you once and he'll love you forever. And he has this it's called La Puccia, and it's like Italian, Syrian, unleavened bread, if you will, and just a bunch of stuff and goodness in it, right? And so I always get a Puccia #1 and a slice. And that slice.
But that's the best slice.
It's the best slice.
Say the name again.
Mariano's.
And they're almost like little stromboli sort of.
They have
kind of.
Yeah,
we've had those.
Yep.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, they're like
delicious.
The La Puccias are kind of like a version of a stromboli,
right.
but not really. And
Unique,
the juice is kind of. Oh, dude,
Dang.
This ain't on the macros plan though.
Yeah, right.
It ain't on the macros plan though.
We might have to do lunch after this.
I'm hungry.
That's good. All right. So next question is, if you were to write a book, what is the title of that book?
Oh, yeah, man. It would be the slogan "Potential to Performance," but I actually wrote a book that I never published, and the title of it was "There's Got to Be More."
There's got to be more. I like that.
Yeah.
There's got to be more, because I think a lot of people ask that question.
Yeah.
Right?
It's super relatable to a lot of
There's
people.
got to be more.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Motto.
The last one. Motto that you live by. Day-to-day motto that you live by.
Yeah. So it's the motto, right?
Yeah.
It's Joe Long. I wish I said what I said to me, but he said it. And that is, you got great potential, but potential doesn't mean anything unless you reach it. I mean, that's been the motto.
Action, man.
Yeah. Action.
Don't talk about it. Be about it. The lessons that we learn here, are phenomenal. Again, execute. take action. That's the only way things move.
That's it.
That's the only way that things move. Again, 2 Down, 1 Over podcast. I'm Josh. This is Matt, and this is the great Shawn, man. We had a blast.
Yeah, thank you.
Amazing. Thank you for listening. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.
Peace.